Reichland was on its knees and almost completely annexed by the Commonwealth forces. Wissenland finally made the decision to act and declared war on Marienburg's dwarven allies. Marienburg reciprocated and came to their allies' defence, leading to the siege of Pfeildorf. Though outnumbered, the garrison successfully turned away the forces of Nort. Boris hurried to his home province of Middenland and reclaimed Grimmenhagen, which had fallen to the Feckendites. He now set his mind on the liberation of Hochland. On the road to Middenheim, the curious priest Franz Rothmer made a surprising return, as if risen from the dead, and once again marched at the side of Willard van Nort. Erasmus led his forces into Nordland, which had been brought low by the Fimir of Rancor hold. The army struck fast, denying the Fimir the time to put together a cohesive defence. The province was almost secured. Boris took some time to recover his strength before heading east to Hochland. His forces struck at the town of Gryden, destroying the cultist forces and securing a foothold in the province.
Attack! Take up the pace!
Willard arrived at the south of Nordland and moved on the provincial capital of Sausenmund. They swept aside the Fimir presence they found there and secured the city. Erasmus came from the west and secured Oldenlitz. With the province now entirely secured, the process of resettlement and rebuilding could begin. This surely would be a long and expensive process, but offered an undeniable propaganda opportunity for the Commonwealth. To the north of Sausenmund, Willard's scouts had caught sight of the 2 undead legions that had been turned away at the walls of Middenheim. They would need to be dealt with swiftly, else their gains in the province would be in jeopardy. The Grand Baron of Hochland, Aldebrand Ludenhof, had rebuilt his forces with Marienburg coin, and was now ready to join Boris Todbringer in the liberation of Hochland. Christian van Nort had abandoned his pursuit of the Imperials on the south side of the Reich, so he might assist Boris Todbringer in turning away the Feckendites. However, with the situation now under control, he decided to turn back and defend their Reichland conquests from the forces of Wissenland. This proved to be a wise move, as soon after, Elspeth von Draken marched her army on Grunberg. The paltry garrison had no hope of withstanding the onslaught, and the city fell. Johann Toppenheimer, the Count of Solland, continued his glorious campaign in Reichland. The desperate emperor had been rooted out of Slash-Scratch Deep by Christian van Nort, and was now making a final stand in Bogenhafen, one of the last remaining towns in Reichland loyal to the imperial crown.
Raise your weapon!
The Amber Wizard, Dolf Hasselhoff, moved ahead of the line and used his arcane abilities to goad the Imperials forward.
The Lady's shield protects us from their magic! Use a silver pillar!
After wreaking havoc amongst the infantry on the centre, he then turned to the cavalry on the Reichland left flank.
Kill the soldiers! Our liege lord demands! Bring them!
The wizard's efforts achieved the desired result, and the indignant Reichlanders charged forward. Johann Toppenheimer's superior infantry made light work of the Emperor's forces. However, the heavily armoured Empire Knights were proving more of a challenge. The infantry tried best they could to pin down the Emperor as the handgunners unleashed their volleys.
They are wavering! Ulrich's wolves charge! None shall live!
The Emperor himself fled the field, and what remained of his forces followed after.
Moving off!
Elderbrand Ludenhof crossed the border into Hochland and marched on the ruins of Krudenwald. The army encountered no resistance, and the town was secured without a fight. The armies of Wissenland had not taken their defeat at the siege of Pfeildorf well, and were determined to avenge their loss. No sooner had the city weathered the first siege, than they were subjected to a second.
It's a broken stone!
As they had done previously, the Wissenlanders focused the bulk of their manpower on the western walls, whilst a small detachment moved on the north.
Men! They're casting spells!
Whilst the Wissenlanders to the west had multiple artillery crews, those on the north had only a single mortar crew, which was forced to endure relentless missile fire from the towers.
Look out! Spellcaster! Look out!
The artillery focused their fire on the walls, determined to create an opening into the city.
Keep your heads down, men! They're casting spells!
Sensing the brick and mortar crumbling beneath their feet, the infantry upon the targeted section of the walls retreated to the lower ground. Most of the men were able to get to safety before the walls came down. With the breach opened, the besiegers moved forward and pushed their way into the city.
It is against Sigmar's teachings!
On the northern walls, the mortar crew had been thinned out so greatly that they no longer had enough manpower to operate the mortars, and the infantry were forced to scale the walls.
Enemy wizard spotted!
Most of this smaller force was made up of handgunners, who attempted to return fire on the defending garrison, but the walls rendered their shot ineffective.
Beware the wizards! Cast magic against them! It is against Sigmar's teachings!
halberdiers left enough room for the attackers to move into the breach before surrounding them. The handgunners on the northern walls could see the futility of their volleys and made the brave decision to draw swords and storm the walls. They were soundly cut down. The dwarven warriors equipped with their deadly blasting charges took up position behind the struggle at the breach. The explosive power of the blasting charges proved the deciding factor in the battle, sending limbs and splintered weaponry flying across the city grounds. So shook were the besiegers by this barrage that they turned and fled from the city.
Ulrich's teeth! Retreat! Get down to abandon that!
The final battle in the war for Reichland had come. The Reichland defences had been toppled one after another, and now only Castle Grauenberg yet stood. Johann Toppenheimer moved on the castle and seized control of the walls.
Fight for our nation!
The war against the Emperor was over. Karl Franz fled into exile, never to be seen again. The stadtholder once again penned a letter to all the remaining elector counts that had not yet pledged their fealty, informing them of the Emperor's undoing, and demanding fealty of all those that had once pledged themselves to the Emperor. Christian van Nort arrived back in Reichland just in time. After seizing control of Grunberg, Elspeth von Draken marched on Altdorf, seeking to avenge the Emperor and deliver a symbolic blow to Jan van de Kuipers and his Commonwealth of sovereign provinces. Christian landed his forces in the city, before moving to intercept the Dark Lady of Norn.
Into the fray!
Elspeth von Draken deployed her army in a defensive position atop a hill. Her positioning was made all the more dangerous for the artillery and handgunner cavalry she had brought to bear. Christian could not stay put and allow his men to be lit up by artillery fire. He had only one choice, to storm the hill and drive back the forces of Wissenland.
Keep clear! They are wavering! Ulrich's wolves charge with us! They are wavering! Ulrich's teeth! Retreat! As long as we outnumber them, we will hold!
The Marienburg infantry endured the incoming fire as they ascended the hill. After a brief skirmish, parts of the line managed to push through and charge on the enemy artillery crews.
Don't give them an inch! As long as we draw back, we will die! Retreat! Retreat! We will hold! Don't give them an inch! Held an hammer! Keep your heads down!
The hill was secured, and the men set about routing the Wissenland forces that remained on the flanks.
Die, traitor! We will... Fight, men! Fight for our right to live! The gods have abandoned us! A united empire is all that matters!
The army of Elspeth von Draken was broken and scattered into the wilderness, pursued by the forces of Christian van Nort. Willard headed north toward the coastal town of Norden.
To strengthen the Empire.
Whilst Erasmus trekked through the heavy woodland toward the undead stronghold of Rosefels. As they neared the outskirts of the town, Willard and his army came under attack from the Fime king of Rancor Hold.
Chief! Retreat! Retreat!
The Fimir were crushed. Those that survived fled back to Norden. Willard pursued the enemy and arrived at the town soon after. After a short battle, the town was secured.
Heldenhammer!
Aldebrand Ludenhoff continued his liberation of Hochland, moving on to Fort Schiphol. Again, they found the town unoccupied and seized control without a fight.
Yes, my lord.
Boris Todbringer was ready to move on the Hochland provincial capital of Hergig. Just as he was about to depart, his scouts brought word of a large greenskin host moving through the underways outside the city. Boris was not deterred and sought out the greenskins in the depths of the world.
It is war!
It's mine! Illuminate upon them!
The outgunned greenskins endured as much mortar fire as they could bear before closing the gap.
Keep your heads down, men! They're casting spells!
The Goblin war boss had pushed through the line and began harassing Boris's mortar crews. Boris came to his soldiers' aid and did battle with his greenskin counterpart. Greenskins fought with their usual ferocity, but the heavy bombardment before the lines clashed had taken a great toll on their forces, tipping the battle in Boris's favour. After a bitter struggle, the Greenskins faltered and retreated. Boris had emerged victorious, yet the hardy Greenskins had done considerable damage to his numbers. He could return to Gryden and recover his strength. However, this would also give time to the Greenskins and the Feckendites to do the same. He did not need to contemplate for long before deciding to push the advantage and pursue the Greenskins to Hergig. In an unlikely alliance, the Feckendite garrison would come to the Greenskins' aid against their common enemy.
Attack!
Boris flew over the Greenskin infantry and came crashing down on the catapult. The Feckendite garrison, consisting of beastmen and heavily armoured warriors of chaos, arrived on the field and moved towards the Middenland position uphill.
The eye of the gods will see me bring ruin on the
As the enemy approached, the Middenland infantry used their superior position to their advantage and charged downhill into the foe. In a foolish move, Boris's forces had allowed a sizable gap to open up in their ranks, allowing the Beastmen warriors to slip through and charge into the bowmen. The Beastmen on the left flank were quickly routed, and the greatswords pursued them into the forest. The heavily armoured Black Orcs and Chaos Warriors provided a tough fight for Boris's infantry. Soon enough they broke, and the battle was won. After a long march, Erasmus finally emerged from out the dense woodland and marched on Rosefels.
War calls!
With Elspeth von Draken routed, the Wissenland presence in Reichland had been removed. Christian continued the march south and moved to reclaim Grunberg.
Hunt them down!
Yes!
Battle positions!
Johann Toppenheimer
All
had
or
covered himself
nothing.
in glory in Reichland, and now sought to take the fight to the forces of Nord. Hochland was now under Commonwealth control, but the Leech Lord was reported to still be lurking about the province. Aldebrand set out in search of the Fecundite Lord, intent on delivering his revenge to the abomination that had laid waste to his homeland. Shortly after laying siege, Erasmus came under assault from a vampire lord of the unliving. The elven captain, David Maycross, hatched a plan. He took up position in the wooded area near where the undead reinforcements were expected to emerge. The elf attempted to withdraw to his allies, but was caught by the Black Knights. Erasmus would not abandon his friend to his fate, and personally came forth to his defence.
Keep your heads down, men! They're casting spells! Look out! Spellcaster! Beware the wizard! Enemy wizard spotted! They're casting spells!
What are these foes called, Reichlanders? Quick! Send Ludwig around the flank!
The Pistoliers and archers took down many enemies with a torrent of fire, but the undead possessed far greater numbers than the Marienburg army.
As long as we outnumber them, we
A
will
gap
hold.
opened up in the line, large enough for the pistoliers to push through and assume a flanking position on their enemy.
Destroy it! Kill the necromancer! Fight! None shall live!
As the dark magic began to fail, the undead soldiers collapsed.
Kill the necromancer!
Folk goes round. We must not relent.
Following his great victory at Roosevelt, Erasmus continued to push east and marched toward the town of Erlangen.
War calls.
By the coast, Willard had found himself surrounded by two armies of the unliving. Taking the initiative, Willard sought out the first army, which was comprised mainly of fragile zombies. No challenge for his steel-plated and battle-hardened warriors, and the undead were soundly defeated.
Ulrich's will. To arms!
He then made haste toward the second army. It too was of no great challenge, more of an inconvenience than a real fight, and Willard once again emerged victorious. With the unliving forces shattered, he was now free to turn his sights to Saltkalten. No relief came for the Wissenlanders in Grunberg, and Christian easily stormed the walls and reclaimed the town. Norn had sent reinforcements to Dukelberg, hoping that they could prevent Johann Toppenheimer from encroaching on Norn itself. Johann still considered the odds to be in his favour and pressed on.
It is for the best.
The army assumed a defensive position, with their left flank secured against a mass of inscalable rock. Far off to the right of the main line, the cavalry lay waiting, concealed by the trees.
Using dark forces against the enemy!
The Amber Wizard had achieved great success against the Emperor, harassing the enemy with magic in an attempt to draw them forward. He would seek to replicate this success against the forces of Norn.
Look out! Spellcaster! knows no
The enemy sent their pistolier cavalry forward, and the wizard retreated, leading the pursuing cavalry into the awaiting musketeers.
They are using dark forces against the enemy! It is against the god's teachings! Cast magic against them! Look out, spellcaster!
Surprisingly, the enemy were foolish enough to fall for this trick a second time, and another unit of cavalry faced the violent end of the Solent muskets.
Dark magic's going on!
Do not trust wizards!
They're serving the Troy!
It is against the
From the meat, the magic comes!
We must be triumphant! Look out! Spellcaster! Beware the wizard!
The signal was given, and the Solent cavalry charged from out the forest, herding the enemy cavalry toward the line.
Traitors! It is against Sigmar's teachings!
They then turned their attention toward the mortar wagons and crossbowmen.
Sigmar's teachings! Sorcery! Cast magic against them! They are using dark forces against the enemy! They're casting spells! Look out, spellcaster! Everything! Don't give them an inch! Brace for impact! Brace yourself! They are wavering! Now we strike! Forward, man!
Their general lay dead upon the field, and their ranks had been decimated by magic and shot. The Wissenlanders had endured all that they could, and fell back. Johann Toppenheimer rested his men in Dukelberg that night. Nuln was close by, and without any significant defences. If the lords of Wissenland had not already begun to regret their war, they surely were about to.